Hello everyone. In continuity of our lecture series of textual analysis of the drama Macbeth, and to continue with that series, now we have come to scene 4th of Act 3rd, and in our previous lecture we have discussed scene 3rd of Act 3rd, and in that lecture or in that scene we have discussed that Banquo has been murdered by the three murderers whom Macbeth hired, and his son, Banquo's son, Flint, escaped in that attack, and in that way the major character of this drama, Banquo, has died in the assault or the attack of those three murderers. So that was the action we have discussed in our previous lecture, and now we'll start the textual analysis of scene 4th of Act 3rd. As you can see in the screen. So now I am sharing the text from where we will start our textual analysis. Yes, as you can see, this is Act 3rd and scene 4th, and the scene is set in a hall in the palace. Palace is the royal palace, where the characters are Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, Rose, Lennox, lords and attendants. And the occasion of this scene is a banquet prepared. Banquet means dinner. So a royal dinner has been arranged by the king and the queen, means Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. And now Macbeth starts the conversation, and he says, "You know your own degrees, sit down. At first and last the hearty welcome." So Macbeth greets all the characters or the royal personals in that palace, and he says that you know your own degrees, means you know your ranks. Degrees here means ranks. Sit down. At first and last the hearty welcome. And he says that sit down according to your places at the table and take your seat, and I extend you all my hearty welcome. Lords, thanks to your majesty. And the lords replied that we thank you, your majesty. Macbeth, ourselves will mingle with society and play the humble host. And Macbeth says that I shall freely mix with the company and play the part of a host with all humility or humbleness. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time we will require her welcome. And he also says that the hostess, so the hostess is referred to Lady Macbeth. So the hostess is sitting on her chair of state, means she is sitting at her seat, and but in best time we will require her welcome, and she will welcome you at the proper time. Lady Macbeth, pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends. And now Lady Macbeth says, my lord, give hearty welcome to all our friends on my behalf. For my heart speaks, they are welcome. So Lady Macbeth says that she welcomes all the guests with his heartfelt feelings. Macbeth, See, they encounter thee with their hearts' thanks. And Macbeth says that, see, the guests return their good wishes most heartily. Both sides are even. Here I'll sit at the midst. And he also says that, I sees that the guests are sitting in equal numbers on both the sides of the table. Here I will sit in the middle. Midst means middle. Enter first murderer to the door. Now the first murderer comes at the door, and he says, and Macbeth says, be large in mirth, anon will drink a measure. And Macbeth says that, enjoy yourself freely and fully. The table round, approaching the door, there is blood upon thy face. And as he says these words, he approaches or go near to the door where the murderer is standing, and he says to that murderer, I see blood stain on your face. Murderer, it is Banquo's then. Then murderer replies that it is then Banquo's blood. Macbeth, it is better thee without than within. Is he dispatched? And now Macbeth asks to that murderer, your presence here outside the door is better than the presence of Banquo inside the hall. So has he been murdered? Murderer, my lord, his throat is cut, that I did for him. And the murderer replies that, my lord, his throat is cut and it was done by me. Macbeth, thou art the best, O the cut throats, yet he is good, that did the like for flints. And Macbeth again says, then is none like you is performing the act of murder. Yet he who likewise killed flints is also a good murderer. So here Macbeth is also expecting the murder of Flints, the son of Banquo. If thou didst it, thou art the non-peril. And he says that if you have killed Flints also, you will be unmatched in your business. Murderer, most royal sir, Flints is escaped. And the murderer replies that the son of Banquo, means Flints, has escaped and he couldn't kill him. And again Macbeth says, then comes my fit again, I had else been perfect. Then Macbeth replies that then I am thrown into fit again, means it is now again I am not safe, means you have not completely removed my danger. So then I am thrown into fit again, and I had else been perfect, whole as the marble, founded as the rock. And if Flints had been killed, I would have been perfect like marble, strong as the rock, and broad and free like air, as broad and gentle as the casing air. But now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound in to saucy doubts and fears. But now my life is cabined. Cabined means imprisoned, cribbed, confined, and bound into saucy doubts and fears. And my life is rocked between doubts and fears. But Banquo's safe. But you are quite sure that Banquo has been killed. Murderer, I means yes, my good lord, safe in the ditch he dies, and the murderer replies, "Yes, your majesty is lying in a ditch with 20 trench gashes on his head." So he received 20 deep wounds on his head, the least a death to nature, and the least of which would kill a person. So the murderer says that he has killed Banquo, and he is quite sure of that. Macbeth: "Thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies, the worm that's fled." And Macbeth says that, "I thank you for that," means I thank you for killing Banquo. And he further says that there is the grown serpent lies, means the old serpent. Old serpent here is referred to Banquo, lies there in the ditch means the major danger of my kingdom has been removed. The worm that's fled, and the worm here is referred to the son of Banquo, Flints, that the worm who has fled away hath nature that in time will venom breed. So Flints, who has fled away, has no fangs at present, but has that nature which will breed poison in due course of time. So it means that at present Banquo's son Flints is not a threat for me, but in future he can prove as a danger. So note it for the present, get thee gone, tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again. So he instructs the murderer that you should now go away and we shall meet again. Lady Macbeth: "My royal lord, you do not give the cheer." And Lady Macbeth now talking to her husband Macbeth, and she says that, "My lord, you are not welcoming your guest." So, "My royal lord, you do not give the cheer, the feast is sold. That is not often vouched while it is a making." And she says that there is no welcome in the feast will be no better than a paid feast at a hotel. That is not often vouched while it is making, and there is no host. There the host does not extend welcome to the guest. It is given with welcome to feed the best at home. From thence the source to meat is ceremony. And she says that while the feast is going on, the host must welcome the guest again and again. Otherwise, one might as well feed at home. And the hearty welcome that is extended to the guest adds to the charm of the party. Meeting were bare without it, and without cordial welcome, there is no meaning in a banquet. Macbeth: "Sweet remembers. Now good digestion wait on appetite." Now Macbeth says that sweet remembers means my dearest love. Now good digestion wait on appetite. So I thank you for your timely reminder. May you have good appetite and health on both, and good digestion and health. Lennox: "Mayst please your highness sit." Now Lennox says to the king that, "May it please your majesty to take your seat." So in this way Lennox is talking to Macbeth. Now, it is an important scene. It is also called as banquet scene, where the ghost of Banquo enters and Macbeth sees that ghost and behaves in a very insane way. So the ghost of Banquo enters and sits in the Macbeth place, and the ghost sits at Macbeth's seat. Macbeth. Here had we now our country's honor roofed. Now Macbeth says that had noble Banquo been present here, here had we now our country's honored roofed, were the graced person of our Banquo present. So he says that had noble Banquo been present here, I would have the best company of all the nobles in Scotland. Who may I rather challenge for unkindness, the pity for mischance, and I would rather scold him for his unkindness and not pity him for any incident that may have happened. Rose. His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Now Rose says that he has broken his words, and by keeping himself absent from the party. Please your highness to grace us with your royal company. So may your majesty honor us with your gracious company. Macbeth. The table's full. Now Macbeth sees the ghost of Banquo and he says that the table is full. Lennox. Here is the place reserved, sir. And Lennox says that here is a seat for you, sir. Macbeth. Where? And Macbeth says that where? Lennox. Here, my good lord. What is it that moves your highness? Now Lennox says that here, your majesty. What is that so upset your majesty? Means what is the reason that you look so upset? Macbeth. Which of you have done this? Now Macbeth asks that who among you has done this? Macbeth. Lords. What, my good lord? Macbeth. Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake the glory locks at me. And Macbeth says that you cannot say that I murdered you. Do not shake your blood-stained locks of hair at me. So now Macbeth is seeing the ghost of Banquo and he is talking to that ghost and says that you cannot say to anyone that I murdered you, and do not shake your blood-stained locks. Locks means locks of hair at me.